This is Josiah Plays Torment, Tides of Numenera. Alright, we're here in Caravanserai, and we are exploring and such. And talking to all the people. And we're about to talk to this fellow named Omadon. Right now. This robed man turns a golden bespectacled gaze and winning smile on you. He seems a charming enough sort, but it's clear he wants something from you and is perfectly willing to take it. Politely and with absolute guile, of course. At last, he says. Someone who looks like they can see further than their nose. These Sagasites are as observant as rocks. He clasps his hands together, pleading. Please tell me you've seen a beautiful girl with purple hair. Her name is Persea. She is my beloved, but she suffers from a madness that causes her to fear everything. She can't stop running from imagined dangers, and I've been chasing her for, years now, trying to catch her and cure her before she hurts herself. Alright, this guy is suspect as fuck. Do not believe it. I do not believe it.
I'll remember that.
I recently tracked her here to Sagas Cliffs, but none of these blind fools can remember seeing her, even though I believe she stayed here for a time. He grips your arm. Let me give you a description so you will know her. She is heartbreakingly beautiful and wears winged hair combs that float around her head. I have one of those. Constantly changing the arrangement of her purple hair. Please, if you see her or hear word of her, return and tell me. My name is Omadon, and I can be most generous. Yeah, he's a creeper. I'm not gonna do that. Can you give me more details of Persea's appearance? As I said, she is hauntingly beautiful, with purple hair that floats around her head on winged combs. Her speech may seem confused, so pay no mind to what she says. It is only her madness talking. Once she is returned to me, I will be able to cure her. Can I ask you again what she looks like? Tall and queenly, with purple hair that floats on winged combs. Pay no attention to her words, she is not in her right mind. Just tell me when you find her. I have the cure to her madness. What sort of things will Persea say when she's raving?
Updated my journal.
Almost anything, but one of her more persistent delusions is that I am her enemy. Nothing could be further from the truth. When she is in her right mind, she loves me as I love her. But when her madness is upon her, his voice grows soft. It is more painful than truth can say. How did you and Persea meet? We were at the same grave in the Valley of Dead Heroes, a mutual friend, and in sharing stories of our love for that friend, we found that we were kindred spirits, and decided that we did not want to part when we left the valley. He smiles wistfully. Odd that a place of death could give birth to something so beautiful and undying. Yeah, don't buy this guy. Sounds legit. Ask him for some ropes and duct tape. I know, right? Tell me again how you and Persea met. We met in the Valley of Dead Heroes. We were visiting the same grave. Our love grew from there. What caused Persea to go mad? He frowns, thoughtful. It is, I believe, some trauma associated with her birth or early life. We found that it could be overcome with love and care and certain medications, but even then some lapses occur. It was during the last of these that Persea vanished. I have been on her trail ever since. Yeah. So-called madness. You want to medicate everything out of everybody. Fuck you. Reminds me, what caused Persea's madness? Terrors from her early life that reassert themselves occasionally. They are treatable, but only with constant care. How do you hope to cure Persea's madness? With love, mostly, but also with certain ancient techniques I have learned in my years of study for the cooling and untwisting of fevered and knotted minds. I'm positive that once I am able to isolate her from the corrupting distractions of the world, I will be able to restore her to her true self. Not on the level. Farewell. Travel safe, friend. One true love. Omadon, a man I met at the caravanserai, is looking for his lost love, Persea. He says that she suffers from a madness that causes her to flee from imagined dangers, and he has been trying to catch up to her for years. Omadon tracked Persea to Sega's cliffs, and he asked me to help him look for her. Omadon is certain that Persea stayed in Caravanserai for a time. He describes her as beautiful, with purple hair that floats around her head on winged hair combs. According to Omadon, Persea's madness causes her to believe that he is her enemy, not her lover. I found a hair comb in the local hostel that may have belonged to Persea. Omadon will want to see this. Yeah, but no. We're not going to tell him about the comb right now. We're going to talk to Tranquility about the comb first.
Sure.
This ain't my first quest, bro. Tranquility bows as you enter. Welcome back, friend. You have been missed. I found this hair comb in one of your rooms. Do you know who it belonged to? She shakes her head. I'm afraid not. We have many visitors here. It could have been any of them. Oh, my deception skill tells me that her denial is too quick and sharp, especially when her voice is normally so calm. You suspect this is the mark of a lie. But if she's lying, how come I can't confront her about it?
On it.
Alright, if this is the room she was in... then maybe she went to this Agricola area. She's selling her sleeping clients to the church below. Yeah. Well, how do I find her?
Yes.
I mean, I need to hear her side of the story. But I can't confront Tranquility.
Yes.
Maybe I just need to talk to Omadon again to advance the quest. Or maybe I have to... maybe I'll look around the rest of the city and see if I find her. Here's some memorialists. Packed bundles and sealed urns line the area, waiting to be taken into the city or loaded onto a ship. Oh, you startled me. I'm not all that used to being around so many people. We'll be leaving for the Valley of Dead Heroes again before too long, thankfully. I hope they've been taking care of my grave. You You should visit the Valley of Dead Heroes sometime. Quite lovely in its way. Farewell. I know you, don't I? You visited the Valley of Dead Heroes not long ago. Good to see you. We won't be in town for long, just refreshing our supplies. Winters can be cruel in the Valley of Dead Heroes, but not in the way you think. It's nice here, though. Lively. Perhaps we'll see you again sometime. Memovira Guard. Maybe this is the gate that leads to the bloom or something. That's kind of what the impression I got. More of those banners. There's lots of those banners, dude. Because the Memovira is the crime boss that runs the bloom. A man in a brigandine coat stands in front of the heavy wooden gate. His arms are crossed, his feet firmly planted. You got business with the Memovira? Who's the Memovira? She's the boss lady of the bloom. Been in charge for about 10 years. Couldn't tell you what the title means, but there's always been a Memovira. His eyes narrow. And if you had to ask that question, you ain't got business with her. Out of the corner of her mouth, she mutters quietly to you. Memovira he serves is hardly worth the water it takes to spit. A real shin-shaving grifter. The old one was the living avatar of the bloom. Oh, I can ask him about the woman with purple hair. Interesting. I'm looking for a tall, beautiful woman with purple hair.
Updated my journal.
Ain't we all? He snorts. That lovesick Carker keeps asking me about his girlfriend, and I keep telling him the same thing. I ain't seen no purple-haired ladies. Truth is, if she did pass through here, she probably stopped at the inn. So if you want to find Miss Purple Hair, that's where I'd start. Can you tell me anything else about the Memovira? Nobody crosses her, not even the council. He waves a dismissive hand at the passers-by. If your character actually said who's the Memovira, the guard should just punch you in the stomach and end the dialogue. Yeah. All these poor plotters are scared of her. And that means they're scared of me, too. Go work for the Memovira, son. That's what my dad told me. You'll never be anybody in this life if folk ain't scared of you. Who's the Memovira again? Asking him again, he should really be mad. The boss lady of the bloom. She's been in charge for 10 years or so. Before that, there was another Memovira, some high and mighty fella, but the boss lady took him down. Nobody remembers his name, or any of the others before him. So, you're from Sagus Cliffs. I'm just chatting this guy up. Born in Cliff's Edge. House where I grew up fell into the sea a couple years back thanks to the sticker. May the Black Three bugger him with flaming pricks. He splits. He spits. Dude, that's pretty harsh. Joined up with the Memovira and served 5 years in the bloom. Gets in your head, the bloom does. Whispers to you. Tells you to do things, maybe. His eyes gleam. When the boss lady found out, she sent me out here. What is the bloom, exactly? It's a monster. A stinking tumor the size of a city. Full of veins and cysts and sacs that folk can crawl around inside. Sometimes they lead to maws. His sunken eyes gleam as he speaks the word. If you give them what they want to eat, they'll send you to another world. Or not, if they decide to feed on you instead. What is the bloom again? It's a monster, like I said. A great stinking tumor the size of a city, full of freaks and killers and madmen. Folk crawl around in its guts, and sometimes they find portals to other worlds. Or the bloom just eats them, if they ain't lucky. What's on the other side of the door? A road. It goes down the side of the cliff toward the bloom. Nobody gets by unless the boss lady gives the word. What's on the other side of the door again? A road. It heads down to the bloom. Very well. Uh-huh. So if I can ask him about... One of the Memavira's guards suggested that Persea probably stayed at the Caravanserai's Inn. I should check there for some sign of her. Oh, I'm sure at least one, if not more, of the Memaviras over time have been cast-offs, if not the current one. The first one was probably the fucking Changing God, because he seems to be the founder of everything in this world. Wonder if they saw her. Oh. Wonder if they saw her. I love asking him the questions twice. Just to troll them. But no, sometimes they say different things. Sometimes they say really different things the second time. Like, they may reveal whole bits of information that they didn't the first time. Young man, young woman. Levy. Tranquility. Once again. No.
Sure.
Alright, let's go down here.
Yes.
Another weird little archway. With some, like, horned serpent dragon things and a egg between them. Alright, we've got Sylph, a bunch of sailors, explorers, Tarnak Hobbs, a barkeeper. Where the hell does this go? Oh, Cliff's Edge, right.
I'm going.
Alright, let's see what this person has to say. This pretty young woman stands unnaturally still. Suddenly, her large glassy eyes spring to life with a rattle and quickly lock with yours, before just as quickly snapping away. Her skin, as fair as porcelain, is cracked beneath several layers of dirt and faded makeup, and on the side of her neck you see what appears to be a small tattoo of vertical lines with glyphs etched at the bottom. For a moment, familiarity overwhelms you, disappearing as a minute shudder runs down her arms. Her gaze snaps back to your face, but not to your eyes. She's staring at your tattoo. Jerkily, her hand rises to touch her own. Well met. I am called Sylph. You note the slight pause before she pronounces her name. Her voice has a purring quality under which you can hear the spinning of countless gears. Oh, she's a robot? She coughs just once, and a small greenish cloud emerges from between her lips. How did you come by that mark? I'm the Changing God. What's up? I'm gonna try to remember where I've seen her tattoo before. Anamnesis. You hear an echo of yourself and see in front of you a strange old man, gnarled by time and rabid with expectation. On his neck, weathered and sagging, you see the same series of vertical lines etched into his skin, a faded map to a time or place that no longer exists. An inadmissible period of time has elapsed without an answer. Conclusion. I will rephrase the question, she says as the memory fades. How did you come to have those marks upon your skin? The usual way. The usual way, you know? How people get marks on their skin. You know how it goes. Don't know. What's it to you? Aggression noted, she says without any indication of offense. A different approach will be initiated. She regards you, head tilting to the side with a series of small ratcheting noises. You have the absurd impression the motion is meant to be flirtatious. I hope you will answer another question for me. I have a riddle that it may please you to answer, she says, brushing her hair coquettishly back from her bare shoulders. It is very old. She pauses a moment, then recites from memory. What comes in with breath and out with a word, transmutes upon death but can't be conferred. The words sound vaguely familiar, resonating in your mind even after she stopped speaking. Let's try to remember where I've heard the riddle before. You listen again to her words, feel the echo and weight of them moving in your mind. You see Sylph, garbed in the robes of an Aeon priest, her face in shadow. But when the riddle comes, it's in your voice, not hers, and the rhyme is different. It arrives with first breath and leaves with each word, transfigured by death unless it's conferred. In your mind, Sylph replies in a deeper, melodious tone. Consciousness. It isn't until you surface from the memory to find Sylph staring at you that you realize you spoke the word aloud. She tilts her head from side to side as if weighing your answer in each ear. Very good, she says, her neck clicking back to neutral. I have one last question to ask of you. You may not have an answer. She looks beyond you, remaining still for some moments while the gears inside her stomach clatter and whir. Then she meets your gaze again and asks her question. What would you do if you met someone who had succeeded at your life's work before you, and they refused to share their method? I would kill them! I would beg them to tell me. I would find my own method. I would find a new life's work. I don't know. I would find my own method. That would doubtless be difficult. The darkness behind her eyes whirls with glints of metal as her pupils dilate fully. They snap back to normal and she bows slightly. I wish you luck in your endeavor. I have no more questions for you. I'm going to try to remember where I've seen her before. With a 70%. An image appears in your mind of... Why is it so hard for me to say that name? Sylph. Standing demurely beside a richly clothed man who gestures at you impatiently. Sure, she's old, but she can still work. Still got that machine intelligence of hers running along nicely, unlike some others, he says. If you're lonely, she'll keep you company. If you're not, she'll keep quiet. Won't you? He turns his piercing gaze on Sylph, who nods. A sharp edge of disappointment. You recall walking away from Sylph when she was offered to you, passing a sneering man in dark robes who had already made an offer. His presence overwhelms the memory with a sudden understanding of who and what stands in front of you. Eden, an obsessive Aeon priest who made it his personal mission to track the changing god to the ends of this world, searching for a way to transfer his self into vessels of his choosing. It's impossible to tell how successful the transfer was or how intertwined their two psyches may have become. Regardless, the two of them are trapped in the same decaying construct, with no hope of salvation anytime soon. Eden, are you in there? He slowly blinks her eyes. One of them fails to reopen completely. I am Sylph. Have you mistaken me for someone else? Eden, I know you're in there. Can you hear me? I am Sylph, she replies. The Eon Priest's mind seems to have faded into the construct's subconscious. Who knows if it will emerge again? Eden, I know you're in there. Can you hear me? I know you're in there. 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 Okay, bye. Well, that was odd.
Done.
Good day, human. We are somewhat busy at the moment. Kraska, my companion here, believes our next sojourn should take us into the bloom. An expedition to a heavily settled city somewhat defeats the purpose of exploring, but Kraska is adamant. My companion has doubtless found a lover in the bloom and wishes to explore them. Oh, bow chicka bow wow. Greek air fairies were very accommodating. Were they, Anonymous? I've never met any Greek air fairies, to my knowledge. Unless they just look like regular Greek people. Kraska is exhausting. Entertaining, but exhausting. You must be Kraska, I assume. You've got the look of an explorer about you. Am I right? I want your opinion on something. I think my friend here and I should explore the bloom, the alleyways, the bars especially. Sixret here wants to explore the Verzulian wastes. Sounds hot, doesn't it? Sandy. I'd rather discover an exciting new cocktail than a dozen pointy rocks, wouldn't you? See, is it your turn to pay or mine? He stretches. Ugh, don't look at me so loud. I drank everything in town last night, including whatever was in the bucket behind the bar. Feels like someone is throwing up in my brain. My mouth tastes like burning mud. I'd kill myself if I didn't think this hangover would survive. Oh. Oh. How you feeling? Oh. Okay. How about this sailor? Sagus is a great little city. I keep losing clothes here, though. Last night I lost my favorite coat, and, everything else. Never gamble with a Magathon. Someone stole my boots when I was asleep. It could have been anyone in that bed. I keep waking up with no pants. Maybe I should wear them on my head. Wouldn't lose them that way. I think he'd still lose them. Clothers love me. I get a discount. So this just leads down to Cliff's Edge. The technology that suspends the tables prevents them from being easily flipped, dragged, or moved. Given the location, this is probably a good thing. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even notice that the tables were just hovering. But then they have standard benches, standard stools next to them. Tarnak Hobbs. Barkeeper. Barkeeper, what's up? Seen you before, haven't I? Most of my customers are half-mad sailors, frustrated traders, and lost tourists. A man sees things working here, things he shouldn't. One time, a customer bought a bottle and swallowed it whole, cork and all. I've seen two scaled men fight to the death over a pair of pants. Everybody's talking about pants. One of our bottles screams every time you open it. I always forget which one. Sleep under the bar with the rats. Got a pillow and everything. Maybe I should hire help. And you, Tarnak Hobbs? Everyone has clothes like out of a Michael Jackson music video anyway. This man's brow is creased with worry. He avoids your gaze, his eyes fixed on a point to your left and far away. His trembling, battered fingers pluck at the air. He stares through the chattering customers, the bar, as though he is utterly alone. Stepping closer, you see a thick blue crease running down his throat, into the depths of his heavy robes. An orderly rows of azure holes pierce his bony arms from elbow to wrist. So what kind of a weirdo is this guy? Discord, he says as you approach. Scarred melody, too many voices, hurts. His words stream out one by one in a subdued and continuous monotone, tumbling over each other as if in a blind rush to escape. I'm going to study the man. He does not meet your eyes as you step closer to examine him. Instead, he winces as though your presence is somehow painful to him. You watch him move and track the twitching of his fingertips. You hear a low, vibrating whistle, though it is not coming from his mouth. Is this man like a living flute or something? What's up, flute man? I think the companions had a reasonable amount of dialogue to start off with. I mean, I had a lot of talking with them, but yeah, they're not super talky so far. What are you doing here? Wayfarers bring me broken Numenera. I repair them for pay. I need to eat. He cries, and you don't think you're the target of his anger. The Wayfarers thank me, he says, swallowing. They do not know I have remade their Numenera. They do not know they will also be remade. Tell me what you're doing here again. Becoming, repairing Numenera, remaking them, preparing the choir. Can you remake any of my Numenera? Instead of asking to see your belongings, he looks at you for the first time. His pupils are as dark as the space between the stars. No, he says after a long moment. His eyes flick back to whatever distant, terrible place has so captured his attention. You're wounded, a broken instrument. He has no use for you. You didn't even look at my belongings. Do I have anything you can remake? No, you are worthy but broken. This time he doesn't look at you. What are you staring at? The grand hall, the spiral pinned by broken columns, the invisible roof. He stops with a gasp, and a tear rolls down his dirty cheek. He tells me not to share our secrets with you. You are not of the choir. You are discord. A cold wind coils down from the rooftop, flicking at his tattered robes. My perception tells me, suddenly, you hear something beneath the flute-like notes. He is a living flute man. Of the breeze over the holes in the man's skin, a dry, angry voice speaking the word Akar. Akar? What does that mean? You may as well have slapped the man. White with shock, he doubles over, clutching at his chest. Beneath the man's agony, you sense otherworldly indignation and ageless despair, deep as oceans. Great Akar was once the mightiest of cities, and it will rise once more when the choir awakens. His gaze meets yours. The conductor will reward your curiosity and allow me to tell you what I have seen. You need only ask. I wish to know what you have seen. Before my becoming, I found a pit ringed by stone, deep in the Avran wood. Broken pillars at the edges. I stepped inside, breathed the dusty air. He pauses, passing a shaking hand over his mouth. I was lost in the grand hall for days, decades, pillars twisting like hallways, spiraling, the ringing of bells, whirling chandeliers, listening to the song of the lost choir. Choir? Choir. Choir, Josiah? The lost choir. I was an audience becoming an instrument. Finally I slept, and I woke here upon the heights. He took my voice, the man says, his eyes dull and distant. But my blood sings. I am becoming. I dream, and I remake Numenera for wayfarers so that they will become and dream as well. And together we will go into the forest to the ring where the Grand Hall once stood and rebuild. This guy's creepy.
I think I'm ready to try something new.
We got an advancement for Tabir. He falls silent, his eyes wide and wet, as if dreaming of the city that lives in his mind. Tell me your story again. Alright, he's telling it word for word. What do you think you're becoming, besides a living flute man? An instrument, he says, swaying. A doorway. Before I remained Numenera. Now I wake and find devices the conductor has made for me. He is generous. Look, he says, smiling, and pulling aside his robes to bare his bony chest. Countless devices are embedded in his flesh, looping bloodlessly in and out of his ribs, linked by tubes or wire to an opalescent sphere at the base of his throat. Tell me what you're becoming again. An instrument, a doorway, he says, smiling proudly. A conductor. You said that you dream. What of? Proudakar at its peak, he says, gaze locked on the distant ruins of the city. Instruments of metal and flesh ringing the balconies of the Grand Hall. The conductor, our heir, breathing him in forever. Man, this guy is tripping. I have no idea what he is talking about, or how it relates to anything, or what it means. But this dude is straight up tripping. Tell me again what you dream of? No. Farewell. Leave me to the harmony. English, where O can be A can be E can be I, and I can be A. Yeah. English is a fucked up language, it really is, because it's such a mashup of other languages. English might as well just be called Latin, Spanish, French, Italian, German, Gaelic. In English, you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway. Yeah, Alan. You sure do. You sure do. He can't get edge. What do I want him to have? Extra effort, ability, or skill? He can improve... one of these things. You can improve one of these things, or you can just increase his pools. He attacks using speed. I'll give him a point of speed and a point of intellect. No, we'll give him all speed. She's getting pretty close. I'm getting close-ish. I'm 2/3. Needs more return to Bovinican? Bovinican? Knox? Goose, geese, moose, moose, house, houses, mouse, mice. I know, right? God, English is weird, bro. Alright, I want to try something. For science. Quick save. for science, I'm gonna use the third man. Now everything is maxed out on me. Now I'm gonna talk to him again. And he still says we're broken. Alright. Science reversed. No science. Bought, ought, fraught, but it's not sought, it's sought. Yeah. I know, right? Ah, Bovinican, the original language of the cows, official language of the Milky Way. Got it, Nox. Got it. Thank you for enlightening us.
Coming.
Probably a good thing.
Done.
Oh no! We have the sound again! The fucking sound! Why would you do this to me, game? Why would you do this to me? I hate the sound.
Yes.
Anonymous says, talking about vowels, it seems Matkina isn't really a Russian surname based on uterus, as in the Russian localization, the first A is transliterated like A in cat and not like A in car. Okay, so what does that mean? What does that even mean? Can I do anything with this pit? Oh, never mind. That just leads back to the underbelly.
Of course.
I think we got rid of the sound, which is important.
On my way.
It is blowing me away how fast these loading screens are. I mean, because I'm used to Pillars of Eternity and Tyranny. And the loading screens in Pillars and Tyranny are literally 10 times longer than these loading screens. It's crazy. Alan, you know some Russian, and one of the Russian words you know is the word for uterus? I mean, if you only know a little bit of a language, why would you know the word for uterus? Are you like an OBGYN or something?
Fine.
Yes.
We got plants. Here's a Gibra merchant. Here comes a sailor. What's up? Mumbles. Oh, we talked to that sailor. Here comes a child. Wait a minute, child. You just slow your roll.
Aren't the ships beautiful? I'm allowed to be here on my own. My mother says so. You aren't going to tell anyone I'm here, right? I mean, I'm allowed to be here. You can tell my mother I'm here watching the ships. She won't care. Please don't tell anyone I'm here.
He goes through all that stuff about how he's supposed to be here. It's no big deal. Tell anybody. I don't care. And at the end, he's like, don't tell anybody. Alright, what up, Gibra merchant? It's Metkina, not Matkina. Yeah, but then what does it mean in Russian then with that front letter or whatever? Yeah, you can't steal very much in this game, that's true. dictionary says the stress is on the first vowel, so it should be pronounced like Matka. Ma as in mama. So it should be Matkina? Well, I'm still pronouncing it Matkina because it makes the most sense to me that way. Character name has ma as in matter.
I've just been planning deaths. No need to hurry on my account.
Saw you repairing that device earlier. It is good that this city cares for its artifacts. The dry lands are wearing on me. I must return to Marajolio soon. The levies warned me not to swim in the reef. I miss my home waters. Air breathers are fascinating and amusing, but I long to be back among my own.
Man, this city has a lot of fishmen in it.
Air breathers are fascinating and amusing.
Yeah, you told me that already, pal. Look, here's some more fishy motherfuckers.
Yeah, now.
So many fish people. Well, because the word Matka sounds similar to Matkina, so there was some thought that maybe that was deliberate. Laborer? This isn't the best job I've ever had, but you can't beat the view. I don't mind carrying stuff around so much. It's the inspections that'll kill you. A friend of mine cut his hand on a statue's tooth. Now he hears voices when he scratches his nose. That is very strange. We're supposed to wear masks and gloves when we handle imports, but they make us buy our own. What of you, huh?
I used up my last Dipali paste brought from home weeks ago. I need my space.
Oh shit.
We had a good trip this time. Your air breathers. We sold all of our Dipali paste days ago, and Igil won't stop burbling about it. We'll be back in a few days with more spices. Tell your friends.
Okay. I'm sure my friends care a whole lot about that. So now these are the piers where the airships are docked. You can see an airship right here. Dotted with air holes, several crates aboard this ship rattle and jump, apparently just as eager to disembark as the crew. We've already messed with this thing. There's the bloom in the background. You can see it there. Some kind of tower or something.
Going.
Oh, we got us some sort of little helicopter-y looking job here. This looks like some Leonardo da Vinci shit. Piano del Taboso. This craft is capable of carrying one person, two at most. The interior is richly appointed with satin pillows, and the air feels cooler inside. Let's talk with Cuyano. Got some gray hair and some serious armor. This scrawny old man practically rattles inside dull and dented armor that was clearly made for someone bigger than him. Nonetheless, his eyes burn with a bottomless fire. Fire's good. And his smile, as fierce as it is genuine, flashes beneath his graying thicket of a beard.
Another night,
he bellows, clapping your shoulders with his gauntleted hands. You barely keep your feet. The man is stronger than he looks.
Another hero in search of great adventure. You stand before the wandering knight, Keanu del Toboso. What brings you to the summit of Mount Ithiador?
What brings you up here?
Do you know, he says, that I am not quite sure. My memory is not what it was. I recall kneeling before my family's armor in our estate some time ago.
He blinks slowly.
Perhaps I was weeping.
He smashes his gauntlet against his chest. Oh, we got gauntlets against chests happening. Just like what's-his-name in Tyranny. So much gauntlet against chest. The word Kit Kat sounds like a Japanese word for lucky or something, but it's just a coincidence. We've got a linguistics discussion happening in the chat, which I know nothing about. He smashes his gauntlet against his chest, leaving a sizable dent. So he doesn't just tap his gauntlet, he really smashes it, and he's denting his plate armor with the amount of gauntlet smashing.
I can't recall, and it doesn't matter. For then I heard a thunderous roar and beheld a great beast in the skies. I donned my armor and gave chase.
What kind of beast was it?
It defied description, he declares, and so I shall describe it to defy impossibility itself. 13 legs, 6 jaws, 1,000 eyes aglitter with malice and flame, scales the color of clouds.
Alright, go on.
The horrible beast leered down at me, promising destruction. I promised it death, and it fled across the sky. I followed, darting between the trees.
He pauses, frowning.
And I don't recall much after that. I remember walking, having various adventures along the way, of course, but I cannot quite recall why I came here.
This guy's like a total Don Quixote reference.
Ah,
he says, raising a finger.
Of course, I must have had the frankly brilliant notion of scaling this lonely mountain to better spot the beast from afar.
He shakes his head, his wispy beard waggling.
Alas, I've seen nothing so far.
That was an amazing story, thank you.
You are most welcome,
he says, patting your hand fondly.
It is so good to share my tales with a fellow knight. Everyone raises such peculiar doubts.
Why did you call this Mount Ithiador? It's a city, not a mountain.
A city,
he says, his sweat-beaded brow drawing together.
Your senses must have deserted you in the ascent. The heat has baked you in your armor.
He lays a gentle hand on your shoulder, turning you to the horizon.
Do not allow delirium to blind you to your accomplishments, good knight. You have scaled the very heights of Mount Ithiador, the tooth of the world beast. Adventure lies in every shadow below us. Every sparkle of light is a quest, ready for the taking.
I wish this guy would join my party. This guy's legit. You said you're looking for a great adventure.
Yes, but I feel I must speak plainly,
he says, plucking at his beard.
Too many people have mistaken me for a common mercenary.
He straightens. Alan, you know Anonymous is Russian, as in he literally is Russian and lives in Russia. So I'm not sure that you're going to get very far with trying to explain to him how the Russian language works. He straightens.
I am not interested in entangling myself in local quarrels. I will not hunt a beast that cannot hunt me in return. And if I am to fight, it must be against a foe of such wickedness that the stars themselves would wink out, rather than shine upon a world that could harbor such malevolent creatures.
This guy's awesome. The children of the Endless Gate slaughtered innocents in the underbelly. Will you hunt them down?
I've heard of these scoundrels,
He says.
They leave pools of blood and shredded flesh in their wake. You are right, my friend. This world cannot bear the blight of these villains upon her skin any longer. Simply say the word, and I shall hunt them unto my dying breath.
Yes, good hunting, Keanu del Famoso. Excited humming. Oh, he didn't fly off in his little flying thing? What's up, Saito? Welcome back. How you doing? You've updated your Saito. I don't know what that means.
I'm there, in the shadows.
One of you, huh? Alright, that guy was pretty cool. He would have made a good party member. A little too much like Tabir, I suppose, but...
Ready.
Isn't that what the nameless one says? Well, he says updated my journal. That's not the same as updated my Saito. He got another rank in the Blessing of Saito? No! Known by those of us in the industry as Saito's Dread Touch, TM. I think Anonymous came up with the best name for it. Saito's Dread Touch. So good. So accurate. So true. Alright, so we got some other places to look at here.
Right.
You're from around here, aren't you? Why is everything so expensive? Prices here don't inconvenience me. I actually leave Sagus with a profit. Every time. Making money on leave is easy. You just sell your mate's stuff when they're drunk. Nice. I've made a fortune selling my friend's clothes every time she takes them off. Which is a lot. I could probably use a bath. And a scraping. See some stuff in the background there, way down below. This is my favorite dock. You can't go 10 steps without getting in a fight. It ain't shore leave unless someone loses some teeth. I've got a secret move for fights. Know what it is? Forehead. Give someone a taste of your forehead and they're done eating hard foods. Think I'll go for a walk soon. Maybe someone will look at me funny. Hey, honey. I'm only on shore for a few more hours. You busy? They call me the Hammer. I'll let you guess why. What's your tattoo mean, honey? Hey, I have a tattoo too. Maybe I'll show it to you later. See you around, honey. Dude, I want to fucking Sparta kick this guy off the edge of this shit.
Like a whisper.
They call you the Hammer, huh? They call me the Hammer Breaker. You know why? Because I break hammers.
Fine.
The glorious 4 frames per second sail animations. Oh, those are some legit sail animations, aren't they? It's like I'm really there. It's like I'm really there. Alright. What the hell is Tabir doing? I thought he was running to jump off. Crazy person. In our next episode, we will continue on exploring Caravanserai. If you're watching the stream, don't go anywhere because we are not done playing. If you're watching on YouTube, though, that's going to do it for this episode. So thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Torment, Tides of Numenera.